Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger. My friends, I'm here in this video today to talk about Mortal Kombat 1 and effectively the good, bad, and the ugly about Mortal Kombat 1. The game's been out for a little bit now, enough that we can really get our hands on the game and understand the game for what it is. And while I think overall this is indeed a good game, there's obviously some issues. And that said, though, the team is very good about addressing those issues. There's already been patches. There's future patches coming as well. Like, say, the Player 1 glitch, Player 1 Advantage glitch, that is, that took the world by storm, has already been addressed eternally and will be patched out very soon. So that's great. But there's certain things that aren't seemingly being patched out, or perhaps are oversights, or who knows, that are still in the game. So that said here, let's talk the good. What is fun and cool about the game, right? And the answer to that is simply the game. Mortal Kombat 1 is a damn fun game, straight up. It's just as simple as that, right? Especially coming off the backs of Mortal Kombat 11, which I'm not going to say is a game I disliked, but it certainly isn't my favorite of the modern Mortal Kombat offerings. Mortal Kombat 1, even if it was just a vanilla game, take out the cameos, pretend they don't exist, take like two of the more vanilla characters in the game like Reptile and Liu Kang, these two characters in this game with the rules the way it is just makes for a fun game just in and of itself. We don't have to worry about weird rules for combos and juggles and all that kind of stuff because everyone's self-sufficient, right? Everyone can combo and juggle by themselves. We don't need to spend bar on it. If you do want to spend bar, then sure, you'll do more damage overall, right? But every character's pretty self-sufficient in and of themselves. And then, of course, you do add cameos, and then we can add so many wild things. Like, hey, Reptile Spit sucks for combos, because all it does is it just pushes them back. That's it, that's all, right? Add a teleport to the mix, and then all of a sudden... now we're just getting a lot more damage off a move that people would normally write off, right? And of course, cameos are so much more than just combos, right? They're neutral as well, depending on the character. Old Motaro and the tail turret is very powerful. And hey, I don't know if you heard about our buddy Cyrax, but Cyrax allows her some pretty interesting things in neutral as well, not the least of which pressure. And the fact that cameos allow for just really cool things you don't think about till you see it, and then you go, wow, what a great addition to the game. And the fact that cameos just add so much more depth. Like, yeah, you can get a more damaging combo. That's great. Okay, here we are with, like, say, Great Pressure with, say, Cyrax or Serena or Striker. They can all add all sorts of terrifying aspects to the neutral and just general pressure and screen control. That's great, too. But just something, I posted this on Twitter a couple days ago, but when I found this with Reptile, I was blown away. So, basic Reptile combo, nothing to write home about in and of itself except for this. So here I am, and my combo, respectable damage, and I'm completely invisible. And I'm completely invisible when you're knocked down with massive frame advantage. And then I think about that and I'm like, wow, that's so cool, especially for things like his charge back 2, which is a big launching overhead. And people say it sucks because it's, 40-ish frames, which admittedly is very slow for an overhead. But for one that's a full combo starter, that's what you got, that's the price you got to pay, right? But does it suck so much when the character's completely invisible and you literally can't see the startup frame anymore? Not so much, right? So when you get your combo, you get your damage in, and then all of a sudden, the invisibility for a lot of MK games, invisibility is just a straight gimmick. Let's call it for what it is, right? And now it can legitimately give you an unseeable 50-50. So when I'm doing my combo here, you see that freeze coming, right? Okay. It means it's time to start guessing. Because that overhead, it's coming. And if you start blocking high, hey, Reptile's got really good lows too, right? And they lead in the combos as well. And just aspects of that, like normally, without cameos, without assists, would you spend time going for that raw invisibility? Most times, probably not. And now you can bake it into a combo and go for it every time you go for a combo. And that's just plain damn cool. Of course, this is just one aspect of many. I find something as cool as this every single day I mess around with the lab. And also, I guess that's another aspect of the gameplay fun. Obviously, the game itself is very fun, but just training mode, figuring out all the possibilities with cameos and everything you can do. This is the most fun I've had in just training mode in a fighting game in many years. As someone that it's effectively my job to be in training mode, I guess, right? It's been just so enjoyable. There's so many possibilities. Sometimes you find stuff that's like, not great. Sometimes you find stuff that's potentially game breaking. Like, say, in the very early days of the game's life, everyone complained about Serena. Now you understand, hey, Serena, all right, I guess, but not game-breaking, not broken like so many people said she was. And now we're all landing on Cyrax, right? And at least Cyrax for now till we find the next thing. And now everyone's on Baraka Cyrax. And what if you spent a couple minutes in lab and you found out that Baraka Cyrax isn't as good as Havoc Cyrax? Because the famous string everyone's going for Baraka Cyrax, Havoc can do that too, except his string has no weaknesses. There is no gaps. You just have to fully accept it. It's one of those situations where you better start learning the flawless block timing to negate the chip, right? Because you don't have an out against Havoc, or you do against Baraka. And these are the things I'm learning every single day. And just so much more to discover and learn. Like myself, I was very down on Reiko, admittedly, right? I love grappler characters, and his grab by itself is not a grappler grab, right? But with the power of cameos, and say specifically Darius, you can turn Reiko into an actual grappler. Simply a matter of calling the assist at the right time, and all of a sudden your normally somewhat anemic grab becomes almost 40%. And then, okay, that's a grappler's grab, And I don't know, I could gush all day. The cameo system is brilliant. It adds so much to the core Mortal Kombat gameplay, and the core Mortal Kombat gameplay and by itself, even if this game didn't have cameos, would be the best it's been at least since MKX, right? And you add cameos and it's great, 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 great. Another thing that's fantastic about this game is just the general aesthetic. Mortal Kombat's always been mostly dark and gloomy, at least for many years, but it never was the case originally. Like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 were brimming with color. And color has returned to the franchise, both in the stages, like this stage is outright beautiful. And the characters as well, bright and vibrant. A lot of just the particle effects, like Rain has a $1 million looking aesthetic. Just everything he does is so good. It's just legitimately fantastic. To me, the stages in this game are the best stages in the franchise since Mortal Kombat 2. I love just everything about them. I've seen some I haven't even actually unlocked yet, like some of the alternatives, and they look even better yet. Just color and like life is just on the menu again in Mortal Kombat 1. I like that a lot. I know that's not gameplay necessarily, but it does add a lot. Like Mortal Kombat X, I'd only pick a couple stages over and over again because there's stages that had actual color, like the pit. Or MK11, I'd pick the Fire Gardens over and over again until Aftermath had stages with actual color, because it was the only stage that wasn't really super drab or gray or brown. Like even the character select screen, look at this. Looks great. So it's a small thing, but just the general aesthetic of the game is amazing, and I love it. Another thing that's good-ish is cross progression. So this screen right here is actually the PC version of the game. So I own this game on PlayStation and on PC. And as long as your Warner Brother accounts are linked, then you actually can keep all your progression between the accounts. It's not quite cross-play, but I guess it's better than nothing, right? So your skins, all that kind of stuff is all there. Now let's go on to some of the bad things. So one of the things about cross progression I don't like is seemingly it keeps your rank between both versions despite them being different games, and there is no crossplay. I was kind of hoping for, I don't know, some separation. I could start over again on PC if I want to. I don't know, maybe that's not big of a deal. But what is a big deal to me is modes listed that aren't there yet. Like say we have the Warrior Shrine. I'm sure that's going to be like a gameplay mode added in a future patch. But why is it even there if it's not available? And more importantly to me, much more importantly to me, we have practice mode not available here at launch. So for me, whose job it is to teach people how to play fighting games and get better, online practice is invaluable to me, and it's straight up not here at launch, right? It's coming soon, sure, whenever soon is, who knows. I remember coming soon features in MK11 that took like a year to get put into the game, so hopefully it won't be that long, right? And that is a little frustrating to me. And myself, I'm not necessarily a trophy guy, so this doesn't bother me too much. But just one of the things where like things are not necessarily complete. As you may notice here, nobody in the world has the platinum trophy. Because there is a trophy here called Complete a Titan Battle, How the Mighty Have Fallen, and nobody has it. Because whatever a Titan battle is, you can't do it. Maybe it's tied to that Warrior Shrine mechanic that we showed earlier, I don't know. But obviously there's features here that are not here at launch, and that means you can't platinum the game at launch. And I'm sure there must be examples of games that have had that happen in the past, but I can't think of any off the top of my head, especially as one as major as Mortal Kombat release, which will be one of the biggest releases of the year, right? So there's definitely a feeling of incompleteness here. Now, as far as any issue with gameplay goes, obviously the player one glitch was a thing, but that's going to be addressed very soon, so I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, there'll be broken combos, broken characters. Like right now, Baraka Cyrax is the new rage, and people are already figuring out holes in that game plan till the next flavor of the month comes along. We don't know what that'll be. But yeah, so that'll shift over time. I'm not too worried about that. Another thing, and this is quibbling perhaps, but you know, this is my video, so it's my opinion, I guess, right? Ranked. So ranked is always best 3 out of 5. And honestly, if you talked to me a couple years ago, I would say that's the dream, right? And now that I actually get it in my hands, I don't know if I like to rank 3 out of 5. Mortal Kombat being Mortal Kombat, I love you guys, but a lot of you guys, more than other fighting games, are on unstable Wi-Fi connections, right? So that said, I don't know if I love being forced into a full 3 out of 5 match. 2 out of 3 is kind of proven. It's how it's always been. I've always liked the idea, perhaps, in lower ranks, 2 out of 3, and higher ranks, 3 out of 5. I don't know if it's something you would address, but it's something I thought I wanted for years, and now that it's like actually here, I don't know if I want it. I would prefer ranked just to go back to 2 out of 3, if only just to grind ranked faster in the end, I guess. Go through more people, climb the ranks easier. And if we want to keep playing, friendly rematch is right there. So the option is there to keep playing if we want to go past the initial 2 out of 3. But now that I've actually played 3 out of 5, and especially like played longer sets where like the match quality degrades over time and it gets worse and worse and worse, and I've definitely had people lag switch me as well, it's just frustrating. So when it's good, don't get me wrong, right? But the connection's only as good as the worst of the two players, and when that happens, being forced into a long set is much less enjoyable. So you can quit out, but then you lose the set and then you lose rank, and that's just frustrating. So I don't know, just for the benefit of like time and expediency, I guess I would prefer rank to go back to 2 out of 3, as odd as it sounds. Now for the ugly, this is just a massive oversight. I don't know how this happened, but the ability to pin various strings and special moves in training mode. This is an omega popular level feature. It's been in the series like since MKX, right? It's been around a very long time, and it's not here right now. It's popular at all levels of play, even me. If there's like a new DLC character or something, I'll use it all the time, right? I don't remember all the strings out of the gate. I'll gladly pin a bunch of them just so they're on the screen so I'll remember. And for people who are serious about learning the game, that are, you know, beginner level or intermediate, it's a godsend for them, and it's not here. Especially because, you know, your beginner, intermediate players that want to learn and get better in training mode are your most valuable customers. Like the guy who buys the game, plays story mode, plays a couple games against their friends, pieces out, then goes buy Call of Duty or whatever, no, whatever. But the person who's in training mode and is actually trying to get better, this is the kind of customer that will stick around to buy your season pass and buy your DLC. And now you removed, or just simply didn't implement to begin with, one of the most popular training mode features. So the most generous thing you could call it is an oversight, and past that, there's nothing charitable to be said about it, right? I do not know why this decision was made to not implement it. I can only hope that it is implemented in the future and soon, because this is just plain stupid. So that's some of my thoughts on the matter. To add a couple suggestions I would like. I don't fault the game for not having it, but it's something you could add and make quality of life a lot better, especially in training mode. Especially since Street Fighter 6 has helped raise the bar on training mode a fair bit. Just little things like you can hit touchpad on your controller to reset, which is great. But in many fighting games, if you hit left or right and then you hit reset, you'll reset in the left or right corner. Like say, if I hold left and hit touchpad button, I should respawn in the left corner. If I hold right and touchpad, I should respawn in the right corner. If I hold down, I should respawn in neutral. If I hold up, we should switch places. So I become player 2 becomes player 1. This is standard in a lot of other fighting games, and it's not an option here. And yes, I am very well aware that this is something you can do here in practice settings. Like, you have all these options here. Like, you can do it, right? But, like, why add the additional button presses? Especially because they don't do anything else in this game as they currently stand. On that note, also for training mode, if you could use the L3, R3 buttons on your controller to say L3 is record, R3 is play. And yes, obviously we have all sorts of recording settings. They're really good. I love it. But these buttons do not do anything otherwise in training mode, and they do in other fighting games. So if you want to add that as a quality of life thing, that would be fantastic. A lot of what this game is good, but obviously no game's perfect and there is some foibles. So if they want to keep this as the MK game for years to come, I hope that's the case, especially because MK11, they didn't necessarily keep their promises of it being the longest supported MK game. And yeah, I know, obviously, circumstances, COVID, all that kind of stuff, right? That threw a wrench into stuff, I'm sure. But Mortal Kombat 1 is the chance. This is the best damn game they've made in many years. And this is where they need to hit their home run. The base gameplay is great. It's fantastic. So just make the everything else up to that level. And then you got a true all-timer game on your hands. And I want MK1 to become that game. So in time, gameplay-wise, which is fantastic, sure, we'll find stuff to complain about. Like, who knows? Like, tomorrow turns out Johnny Cage and Motaro is the most broken thing, and he's killing the game till we all complain it gets nerfed and all that kind of stuff. We'll fight those battles in the future, right? But for right now, the core gameplay is good. It's just the stuff on the fringes that needs fixing, and hopefully NetherRealm Studios can get that done. And honestly, I have confidence they'll listen, so here's hoping it's all implemented. And that said, that's the end of the video. So let me know what you think. What do you like about the game? What do you not like about the game currently? Post in the comments below. And otherwise, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some Mortal Kombat.